Thanks to Amazon Video Games for supporting Kinda Funny Live. Amazon debuted an awesome program for their Prime members, Prime Gamer Pricing. You can now get 20% off all your game pre-orders and also any newly launched games up to 2 weeks after they come out. Valid on physical video games. Learn more at amazon.com/gamesave.
Kinda Funny Live 2 is this Saturday and Sunday. If you haven't got your tickets already, go get them at kindafunny.com/tickets.
Tim, what's your topic?
Yes, my topic, of course, Kinda Funny Live is happening. So I wanted to talk about it a little bit. This is the last GameOverGreggy show leading into the event itself.
Right.
That's
Yeah, we'll record one before then with a guest. But
a guest that will be at
one of you, a Patreon supporter from patreon.com/funny.
And then he'll be at the real show, the live show. And that's very, very exciting. We've been working super, super, super hard on this shit. It's going to be really, really cool. I want to get you guys' thoughts a week in, a week out, not in. I didn't sleep last night.
You were up till 5 a.m. editing stuff for Kinda Funny Live.
Yeah.
And that's what I'd like to stress if I can. You say we've all been working really, really hard on this. That's a load of bullshit. You have been working.
So is Nick.
I know.
Want to give Nick the Kredskis and Kev. Big Kev dog.
But here, if I'm being clear, and I think seeing as how you guys have your own projects you're working on, secret projects.
Sure.
Again, the lion's share has been you. And I mean like in terms of planning and editing and talking to people and writing things and figuring out what's going to happen next. In terms of planning the event and making that happen, I feel that's been a you and Nick joint for sure, because that's been months and months and months. And then in terms of getting things we need and doing all the other crap, it's Kevin.
We got the doer.
Yeah.
And Kevin's the best doer in the world. What I really appreciate about this show in particular, it was a little bit like this last year, but this year is the first time. Thank you very much for the kind words, by the way. But what I appreciate.
Don't want anybody at the thing thanking me. I didn't do goddamn thing except playing my thing.
You're doing cool shit.
I planned one thing.
What I really appreciate this time is it's the first real time that I feel like me and Nick are switching roles in the I am directing this, you are producing this sense, where usually you're directing the thing and I'm just helping you produce it. I'm the one that's like, Nick, okay, you need to fucking get this shit done. Stop doing that bullshit. Choose things. Now totally flip where you're like, Tim.
Totally flipped.
Like, don't do a balloon drop. And I'm like, I'm fucking doing a balloon drop. And you're like, don't. And I'm like, all right, I'm just going to order the balloons. And then we ordered the balloons. So we're getting a balloon drop. But
point of clarification on the balloon drop. I was not the only person on the planet that said don't do a balloon. Every other person was like, you're doing
I was going to say, wasn't it the person who owns the venue or whatever, or is planning the venue?
The person who's doing all the set and lighting was like, you're going to put balloons above my set?
None of this is true. None of this is true at all. The only truth to that, it was the venue lady who was.
Oh no, Matt gave you shit too for the balloons.
Matt was the one that told me to do the balloons.
No, Matt said something about like a junior high dance or something like that.
That was you.
Balloons.
That was a Nick joke.
No, sure.
Anyways, you guys are gonna fucking love the balloons. They're gonna be goddamn awesome.
I loved the balloons last year.
So did I. Haters gonna hate. That's cool. Everyone else gets balloons.
I didn't like blowing up the balloons.
Yeah,
that's why Kevin bought machines this time.
We got machines.
He also bought balloon tires, which I guess take some sort of advanced engineering degree.
Pull it out. You're gonna have to do it.
I'm not doing that shit. I'm not blowing up one fucking balloon. I'll tell you that right now. You won't even see me near a balloon. If a balloon hits me, I will lose my shit.
That's the final straw for Nick.
That is it.
I get so big. It's over.
But yeah, it's been really crazy because like last year was a lot of work. This year is like a whole other level because it's such a bigger show. But I'm really excited because it's finally reaching that like kind of pushover point where all the things are out of other people's hands and now it's on us. So now I'm like, oh, we got this shit because I know we could do shit. It's when it's other motherfuckers. I don't trust other motherfuckers.
Sure,
because other motherfuckers, it's never a priority for those motherfuckers. But a lot of the motherfuckers came through, and I appreciate that. So now it's just about finessing it into the beautiful eagle that is Kinda Funny Live too.
That's the thing. As much as you talked about it in I think 2 episodes ago that you had stress for the first time or finally understood stress. That was the thing of like I was excited to get you closer and closer to this moment where it's like it's because now we're to that thing of like if it happens, it happens, and if it doesn't, it like whatever. In a week and a half, this show is happening. Whether it's us on a cardboard box or whether it's us fucking floating around in a pool that you can go underwater for drum solos.
I like that a lot.
Yeah,
that'll be Colin's intro, maybe for KFL 3.
We're not getting a pool.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's like if the fear of the balloon drop was that it's awkward, it might not work. All right, it doesn't work. Doesn't matter. We're kind of funny. We do whatever the fuck we want.
I was gonna say, you think if it doesn't work, you think Zyger's gonna make fun of me for it? Nah.
Zyger's gonna love that shit. He's just gonna want a balloon.
Zyger will be too busy looking at pictures in his hotel room, thinking that they're scenery from outside his window, even though it makes no logistical sense how that picture can be there.
Stop eating peyote.
So you're asking how we feel. I mean, I really wonder how you're feeling.
I mean, I'm fucking hyped.
Yeah.
I've never been more excited for anything in my entire life.
Right.
It's going to be fucking awesome. Like, if even 30% of what we have planned actually goes through, this is going to be way
Well, that was the
better
thing
than
when you
last
and I
year's show.
sat down months ago at dinner and like I think we were playing Square Enix stuff maybe or whatever, and we came back here and kept drinking and we went through like what it was, and like we laid out all these dumb ideas, and you were like, if this happens, that's, and like I think just about every one of those things we talked about has happened. Every
I'm
guest
shocked.
we wanted, every stupid video bit we wanted. Yeah,
there's a couple things that we had to like tone down a bit, but it's like then we also toned up 10 other things and added 5 more things to make up for it. And I think it's gonna be fucking good. What do you think, Nick? Where are you at with it all?
I'm in the same place where it took a lot to get sort of the partnership and stuff in place with RT toward the beginning of the year, and this kind of played into it. Originally, we were going to kind of just do the event on our own, and it wasn't going to build into the bigger sort of Let's Play partnership. And now, because obviously it makes a lot more sense and it's a lot more fun to work with another group, we did that. And I think that added a lot more stress. So up until probably last week, I was like, I don't want to fucking do any of this. This week was the first week where I'm like, oh, I forgot this is going to be fun. This is going to be a good time. I just have to remind myself of that. But there's a lot more moving pieces in this that there wasn't last year because we made it bigger. Now, there's always in the back of my mind that I'm like, people would probably be okay with us just going up there and just hanging out for a couple hours and talking to them, just like Kevin Smith does. And we chose to do the complete opposite of that, which is make a crazy like variety show with special guests and video pieces and crazy lighting and set and stuff like that, which is cool. But honestly, I'm at a point with it where I'm behind on a couple other projects, so I'm just fucking like, I just want it all to go away. I just want to get to it, have fun, and then not do it again for another year.
Yeah, see, I want to get it done and then do it again immediately. But that's just because I'm dumb. No, not really. Because I mean, Let's Play Live, June 17th, LA. Even though we don't need to plan that.
We just get to be
They're
talent
planning
for
that. We just get to go and show up. That's gonna be fucking awesome.
Right.
Yeah, I'm so excited for this because my whole thing was, I remember last year everyone expected it to be that where they just came and watched the podcast, and like I remember the moment, I remember seeing everyone walk in and their faces be like, holy shit, when there was like kind of funny branding everywhere and like there was an actual stage, and it just had like a feeling of like,
wait till they see this stage,
we're about to fill this room with people. Like it was definitely really, really, really cool seeing the merch table, seeing like kind of funny branding with all of our names on like table curtains.
That was definitely, I mean, that was what 4 months into the project last year in terms of like, real days, 4 months and a half, I guess.
Yeah.
But like when it was like real. And so it's in a similar vein for me this time around, where it's like you've been doing so much and you know so much about it that it wasn't really, when I sat down to edit that video a couple weeks early, lay out my storyboard for that video, I was like, oh, this is gonna be a lot of fun. And then like last night when I sent you that photo of me in a costume, I was like, it's kind of cool. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, this is going to be super, super fun.
It is. And I think that it's crazy because I didn't think that we could outdo what we did last year in terms of that feeling. It's kind of like the Uncharted conversation we always have. Like, Uncharted 2 it's special because of what it was at the time that it happened. And Kind of Funny Live 1 was that, I think, for a lot of people, myself included. But me and Nick did the venue inspection a week ago, and just being in that space and imagining what it's going to be when it's filled. And with the amount of tickets we've sold, this place is going to be fucking packed. And that's awesome. Like, it's going to be awesome.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong, day of it's going to be an amazing event, and it'll be well worth every single piece of effort we put into it. It's just the lead up to it has been not bad. It's just a ton of work, and it's like everything we always do, where we chose to throw a couple other projects on our plate that, had we not, would have made the workload pretty manageable. Like, I would have actually been able to enjoy the process this time, but it's been just kind of like a nonstop fucking just avalanche of work since, I don't know,
forever.
January of this year.
January last year.
Back all the way to January last year. Yeah. So when I stopped, like when I'm well rested when this morning when I woke up, I was super excited about it, right? And then today I spent all day like doing sound effects for the latest episode of Kind of Funny the Animated Series. And I'm getting texts from my animator right now, Dagan, who has been working for the last like a month and a half straight to give me one final shot that he stayed home from work to do today, and I feel bad asking, but we need it. So it's like right now, and this is the shitty thing about where I'm at, and this is I apologize for jumping down your throat earlier, but I'm so fucking tired that I just want to fucking curl up in a ball, and I want all this shit to go away. And I know that come Saturday night, that'll all go away. Like, it'll all be worth it. But right now, the animated show, all this other shit that I'm doing is not panning out. And it's not, I'm not getting that emotional payoff that I get when I present an awesome piece of work to the audience. It just hasn't happened. And so it's literally fucking clouding my mind right now. Like, there is a dark cloud above me, and it's been above me for the last 2.5 months. So it's going to be awesome because I'm really looking forward to sharing this night with all you guys and with the fans and finally decompressing from that. And not only that, but this will have come out and the other thing we're doing will have also come out. We can start working on that. But until we get to that point, I'm gonna fucking kill someone probably at some point, metaphorically speaking.
And I didn't think you jumped on my throat today, for the record.
I did, and I apologize for that.
I mean, in terms of like, we've all jumped down each other's throats worse than that. Calm down, it's fine, shush. But like, remember that it's the same. I remember this last year. That's when you did the poster tube on the wall. Was last Kind of Funny Live. So it's like we understand the amount of stress you're under, the amount of thing, and that's why I think for Colin and I, we try to be helpful, but we try to stay out of the way. It's like, what can we do? Okay, nothing. All right, we'll proceed on here.
Yeah, and it's on. I mean, it's on me too, and it's on Tim as well that we put the stress on ourselves, right? Like I said earlier, we're really bad at saying what's doable. Okay, let's go 5% above that, right? We start there kind of. We're like, what can we accomplish? And then on the walks to and from Starbucks, that 5% goes to 10%, and then 20%, and then 40%, and now we're at a fucking, like, to put it in context, we were gonna rent the Great American Music Hall, which is a 400-seat venue. Had it locked. I was about to give her the deposit. And then Gus Sorolla said, oh, you guys are doing 400? Oh, we should triple that.
Yeah.
And that fucking tripled. No offense to Gus if he's watching.
Fuck you, Gus. Should have killed you with that bottle.
But Gus was like, oh, you guys, we could push more people than this. We could bring more people in. A lot bigger of an audience can be a part of this. And we had to say yes. Like, how are you gonna say no to that,
I'll never
right?
forget that phone call because it was like the first time. It was right when the RTE like partnership was really becoming a real thing.
Right.
And we're talking to him, and he's just like, "You're only getting 400? Oh, you guys can push 1,000 easy."
Yeah.
And I remember looking at you, and I was like, and we both are kind of like, "He's right. We can." And then like afterwards, we walk away, and we're like, "Can we? I don't know." We can. Surprise. Oh no,
surprise. We can. I mean, I had no doubt that it was a good idea. It was a calculated risk, right? It was one of those things where we're like, well, let's take, this is worth the risk. Mm-hmm. This is worth going big for, because if we fall short, whatever, it'll be the first time we've ever really, it'll be the first time the garbage truck exploded.
Yeah.
And we have to put it back together. But it's still gonna be on fire no matter what. So whatever.
Yeah. This fire's gonna burn brighter than any fire we've ever lit.
It's gonna smell disgusting.
Yeah.
In that room after 2 days.
Yeah.
But I think how I feel right now, am I going to feel like this come Saturday night at 11:30, getting sleep and going into the meet and greet portion on Sunday? No, I'll feel great. It'll be a huge like albatross or weight lifted off my shoulders, right?
Yeah.
And then of course we'll go right into E3, which will be another interesting thing that we have to start planning at a certain point. But
I'm planning that. Don't worry.
That's actually to me way easier than this because there's less moving parts. But that's something we have done all collectively for the last 10 years. And so like I have every faith that you will plan that perfectly. We will come in as backup, do whatever you need to do, and we'll knock that out of the park. Exactly. This is a fucking Macklemore style concert that we are throwing for upwards of 1,200 people. And the big thing for me is like I think I'm like, we're gonna get everything that you're talking about getting done, but we got to still rehearse all that stuff and get it all the day of, because we didn't have enough money to get the venue the day before. We have to figure out in a 6-hour period how to load the entire show in, get it rehearsed with all our special guests, provided they all show up on time, which our people are good, but who knows? And then doors open at 7 for VIP. So see what happens.
It's gonna be, but merch is on lock. There's so many things that could have been fucked that aren't.
That's the thing for me. Like I do have to remind myself on this that we don't have to be. No one expects perfection from us, right?
No one.
But there is a part of my
possibly think that we're gonna get that.
But there's a part of my brain that yearns for that, right? There will always be. That is always who I am, and that is usually why I get really stressed out, because I don't like 90%. I don't like 95%. I like 110%. I like giving people,
and that's why
way fucking more than they thought they were going to get, because that's what we all do. Every time we go to bat, like we swing for the fucking fences. We don't bunt. We're not trying to get a base hit. We're trying to get fucking grand slams every time we do anything. And sometimes we fall short, but at least you put all that effort into it. You swung as hard as you possibly could, and had you made contact, the fucking thing's gone.
No, don't put it on him. I just want to know if you had the same thought I did, where it's like,
how'd you get the grand slam without putting people on base?
I was like, do we call him on the fact that that's nobody's punching or getting
fair enough.
I looked at you because I knew you were right there with me.
But I was afraid it was one of those 50-50 things where I'm like, Nick's gonna fucking punch the room.
No, I had that thought too. I was like, you shouldn't have gone with baseball.
But I didn't want to.
I was like so with you because like, you were doing great. You were doing great. That was just the end of
I was like, if you wanted to hit solo dingers all day, then that's great. That's an ambitious goal, even.
I don't know. I'm thinking maybe in park home runs. So anyway, I mean that's the problem. Is like you have to, with production, you just have to let go sometimes. And I've been really bad lately about letting go, just because there's a lot of stuff I want this to be awesome. I want us to wear silly costumes and give people exactly what they're expecting, but more.
Yeah,
And that's
they're
really
gonna
hard
but
to
I
do.
think the going back to your other stresses, I think the big problem with what we do is that we add on so much when it is just us, and we've been getting a lot more help now than we did before. Like with Rooster Teeth, they've been fucking awesome about helping out with this event. They've also added a lot of complications and layers, just because dealing with more people creates more issues and more.
We're not as
avenues of
nimble, not as
communication.
fast, right?
Yeah. So, there's just different issues that come up. But the thing with us is it's like, all right, we're doing the press conference at Kind of Funny Live. Guess what? At a press conference, you need announcements. To have announcements, you need to do things. So we take that as a fucking challenge to let's do 10 new huge projects, you know?
right.
So like, yeah, the shit that you and Kevin are working on now, it's like, why are we doing that right now? Why are we doing that right now? Because it's fucking awesome. That's
Right.
why. And it's going to be awesome. I can't wait for when people see that announcement.
Oh, I think so. I think
the
it's,
show.
it's going
It's
to
gonna
be
be great.
And honestly, you can't pick and choose in business and in life. You can't really pick and choose when things happen.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can, but for the most part, things, there's things you have to just react to them, right? Things happen to you and you go, this is an opportunity. We either take it or we don't. And we're really, really, we have a great track record of thinking of like as a group going, we got to take this one, right? And like Kind of Funny Live is one of those instances where we could have been done with the show already. We could have been sitting on our thumbs, like twiddling with if we just wanted to do a podcast, or like I said, just do what Kevin Smith does. By the way, Kevin Smith, phenomenal show. I'm not taking anything from him, but all he does is sit up there and tell the same 10 stories that he's told for the last 30 years that I think are amazing, and I'll listen to every single day. But we don't want that for ourselves, and I don't think we want that for our sanity. So we made it 4 times as hard on ourselves, and then decided to just keep fucking taking on.
I think the other thing there too, and this is something that me and you kind of talked about over the last couple of years, but it's like, last year we charged like $20 a ticket, I think. $20 and $50 for VIP. This year it was $70 and $250.
Right.
And it's like, is that too much? Is that a lot? Whatever. And we're discussing. It's like, well, if we charge that much, that puts it on us to put on a show that's worth that much. And it's like, that's how I like thinking, where it's like, because that money goes straight into putting it into the show to making it bigger and better. And it's like, I really enjoy that that's the level we're at this year. Like we're at a level where we're putting on, it's at least a $70 show. Like it's fucking insane. Like I've seen big budget concerts that don't have as much dumb shit as this does, but that's what people are here for. If they're not here for dumb shit, what are they here? Why?
I think the money, I didn't really have an opinion on the money one way or the other about what we were charging, but it reminded me of the fact that at concerts specifically, I mean, I'm not so familiar with the YouTube community, but concerts that are known to have like big touring groups. So like a band that I love, like 311 or whatever. They do 311 Day every other year, and they do 311 cruises every summer. And it seems like and those are like expensive. And it seems like the part of the experience is not only seeing them play for 5 hours or something, which is an incredible amount of time for a band to play and play rarities and songs they never play, or but also it's part of like being around other people that feel like you feel. And I think that's kind of part of what you're paying for, almost, is to like, it's like speed dating for 1,200 people, but not in a romantic way, where you kind of like get to like, I feel like part of that is like a really nice way to meet other people in line, or you're kind of vibing with people and you meet new people, and you knew someone on the Facebook group or on the forums and you meet them there. I think that part of that is kind of the fee. The entry fee is like, I don't like using the term that this is our most hardcore fan base that's going, because I don't think that is true. I think it's our most hardcore fan base that can access the tickets or access San Francisco. I think we have Europeans and people from all over the place, or just younger people without a lot of funds that can't do it. But so my whole mantra with this has been, to just stay away, because it reminds me, I've never planned something this big, but it reminds me of just little things that I've done in the past where I'm like, everyone just needs to go the fuck away and I'll handle this myself. Yeah. And funny enough, the thing that came to mind the most was when Greg and I used to sit in a room every year and do the top PS3 and Vita and PS4 games. And then everyone would try to give feedback and bosses would come inside and I'd be like, can everyone just get the fuck out?
Right.
Like we're making the list. The list is going to be the list. It'll be great. Just leave us alone. And when I thought about that that would take like a day of our lives every year. Yeah. Where we wanted to fucking kill ourselves. And then I multiplied that by 100 and I realized that that's kind of what you guys are going through. So I'm like, my creative input, not really needed. The trust is what's needed. And you kind of just back away. And I've given feedback on a couple of things, but like, I'm like, I don't know. It's not really my pet, and I kind of just trust, since we've been doing this for a long time now and nothing's really gone like totally off the rails, that like you guys are going to be fine doing these things. But I also think positive reinforcement. This guy wrote Tim a message the other day and stuff like that. Just let people know that like we're thinking about you and we support you, but like, I get it. I wouldn't want to deal with me. I wouldn't want to deal with Greg, and I certainly wouldn't want to deal with Kevin.
Well, that's the worst. I don't want to pop in with dumb questions.
Yeah, exactly.
That you've been thinking about for like 4 months.
I have questions and I don't have any concerns really, but I have questions and stuff. But I'm like, you know what? Like I'll just figure it out when we rehearse. Like I'm really not even worried about it. And in fact, like I think that the onus on us this year, in terms of rehearsal and things you have to remember, is actually not as high because it seems like we used more of a spread shot this time with like a lot of cool shit that it doesn't seem like so totally focused on only us. It seems like it's focused on some cool events and some other cool people and stuff like that. And so my personal take, you asked like where's my head? I'm like, I'm not worried about it. And I haven't really given it too much thought because I'm like, I have no preconceived notions. When we sit down and we unveil everything to each other, like when we're getting in there, I'm like, then I'll understand it. And that's the time for me to think about it. In the meantime, like, just like you guys trust that the things I do are getting done, I'm like, I trust that this stuff's getting done and that they don't need me to really bother them about it. So do I have a bunch of questions? Sure. Am I super interested in knowing what's going to happen? Yeah. Do I have a general idea what's going to happen? Sure. But I'm not like, now's not the time. You know, we're like, it's almost like a band that tours every year and they don't talk to each other until 2 or 3 days before when they rehearse because they're like, we're going to play our music.
Right.
Like, I think we know what we're going to do. So we don't have to worry about it.
Well, I appreciate that. Because your level of trust, both of your level of trust in us has been kind of, I never actually have thought about that until now. But Tim and I have gone out and spent a lot of money on this. And you guys are just like, okay.
Well, we know you're spending money. We know you're doing things. But I'm like, we'll make it back. And if we don't, it was a learning experience. But we're going to make it back. And I'm not super worried about it. I'm just not. When have you steered us wrong?
That's the big thing. And we don't stress that enough to you, which I know comes off as maybe not being interested or not caring. But it's like when you're like, here's the budget for this project. And it's obscene. Right. And it's just like, yeah, whatever. Because that would be like me coming to you and being like, I don't even know. I need to do this for my topic. I don't, I have no great analog, but it's like, yep, whatever you say the animated series is going to cost or what you need, sure. Whatever you need for this show, whatever you need for the next big project, you come in and you lay it out and Colin and I are like, well, yeah. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like every time you guys come in here, there was a day not recently, within this year where you came in here for a call probably about Kind of Funny Live. And it was right after you got some other announcement about Kind of Funny Live. You came in here and I turned to him like, thank God we have them. You know what I mean? Because like, this is...
Well, if the business was just the two of us, it would be very different.
We would have $10,000 on Patreon. Our one Patreon, we'd have $10,000 on, and I would cry because of all the Twitch stuff. We would know nothing. We would have no idea. We'd be great at creating shows and shotgunning them out there. But I don't know how to get any of it on iTunes.
The logistical back end is like what's really pretty remarkable, and that was part of what I said. I don't want to talk about all I said to Tim in his message, but part of what I said was that Tim's a dual threat, right? And like that's really become super interesting to. And dual threat, of course, is like a sports term. But like,
so I'm not really that then.
But like, it means like you could do two things very well when you're really only expected to do one. You can, in basketball, you can play defense and you can shoot. In hockey, you can back check and you're fast. Like, like those kinds of things matter and they're unusual. And I am not a dual threat, right? And Greg's more of a dual threat than I am, but it's like, it's the analogy I've used in the past before is like, we get games, right? Greg and I are the getters of games. We know the publishers, we know the developers, and we acquire the games. You don't ask how you got them, we just give them to you, right? It's like, yo, you want a code for this? Okay, I got it for you, here it is. And you guys don't ask those kinds of questions about like, well, how did you get it? Who did you know? And like, tell me about, and it's like, it doesn't matter, I got you the game. And it's just the same, much more serious way of what you guys are doing, where it's like, yeah, the venue costs X and you're dealing with Y and vendor Z and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, okay, like I don't need to even know how this is happening. You guys have it on lock.
Right.
The same way that your tweets are written every day and Facebook and Instagram's taken care of, or we're getting you codes, or we're dealing with publishers and all that kind of stuff, and Greg's planning E3. It's like, we don't need to know. Like, there's enough trust. It's kind of funny because the parallel to what Greg was saying in the original topic about how like tensions are high. I personally feel like my tensions are really low right now, because I'm kind of just more relaxed than ever. But again, as I said on the last week's show, I am still Colin. So like,
right. So there's an underlying like 30% tension.
Right. And it comes with a litany of quirks.
Sure.
And authentic annoyances, both with myself and with others.
Kevin.
But like, to me, it's to say that at the core of this group of 4 and now 5 there is like a level of trust where I'm like, I've never trusted anyone ever the way I trust. Like when we were even at IGN, like there were people I trusted there, like people that were veterans where I'm like, I know you can do this. But if someone like that I didn't know or didn't trust or like was newer, was writing a story, whatever, I'm like, I read that whole thing and I would reread half of it, because I'm like, nah, no.
Right.
But with this, it's like, there's just a level of trust that is so high that I think it's kind of remarkable. And I think that's kind of the antithesis in the sense of what Greg was saying. Not to say what Greg is saying isn't real, because it is, but like you can cut that shit with a knife sometimes. But at the same time, I just feel like there's a high level of trust, and that's what makes the company function. And that's what's making the company, very profitable and very successful and growing, is because I think that we're not up each other's asses. That in fact, like I'm technically the CFO of the company, but like that's just a title. It doesn't mean anything. You really are the one dealing with all of that kind of stuff, and I trust you to do it. Meanwhile, Greg is the CEO, but you guys are kind of dealing with outside vendors and doing like the leadership role positions that, you know, need to be done with Rooster Teeth and all these kinds of things. So there's a lot of different permutations of the way things happen that I think is quite remarkable. And I think Kind of Funny Live 2 is a really nice lens into how this happened. And we were kind of stupid not to document it better. And when we do Kind of Funny Live 3, we really should hire a crew to document it.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it. It's just,
did,
you know,
but
but it's hard. I mean, because that's the thing is, it's like that's, you know, that costs money. That who's going to plan that? And like, it's just it gets to the point.
Hopefully
where
next year will be more than 5.
they either get to plan the thing they're planning or work on.
Right,
that.
We could next year we could have done that. Yeah, it's the inclusion of the additional Project X that we're working on that
Project X.
I think was. And that's, you know, to your earlier point, like it's really there's no bosses here. No one made us do this stuff. This was something I got excited about, and I was like, I'm really excited about this. This is like right up me and Kevin's alley. Like, this sounds awesome. This is a tremendous opportunity that could really, really benefit the company long term. Like, yeah, let's fucking do this. And it was like, because you and I were like neck and neck on Kind of Funny Live for a while, and then it was just like, purr.
Yeah,
like,
no, exactly. Yeah.
I'll see you later, bro. And you were like, I guess I'll.
But that's my thing. Is it's like the thing you guys are working on. I definitely have my opinions and my thoughts, but it's just like I'm not going to get that shit done. You know what I mean? I know he will. I know you.
Yeah,
have
I have my
vision
thoughts on the
stuff.
programming for the stuff, but at the end of the day, it's like I look at what you're doing, and I'm like, even though some of it's not what I would do, balloon drop. It's still gonna be awesome. It's still gonna be fun. It's gonna be hilarious when the balloons drop with
Or don't drop.
or don't drop. Whatever. Fucking cares. We'll make it.
It'll be a
Fucking
story either way.
dropping.
Yeah. Thank you. Greg.
But I look at it and I'm like, again, it's one of those things where, and this is important for anyone out there who's working in a team or in a business together. Like, you have to know when to put your opinion forth, or know when to look at something and go, not the way I would do it, but still going to get the effect that I would want to get. It's fine.
Yeah,
it's great.
And that's exactly how I feel about your guys' thing.
Yeah, like
where I'm like, I trust I'll be good. If I ever need to give my opinion, I will for sure.
Right.
But
See, it's been hard, and I apologize to you guys because sometimes over the last like month, I've given my opinion for no. Even I'll hear the words coming out of my mouth for things, and I'll be like, "You're just being negative because you're tired." Like I don't even mean to do it. I'm just like, ugh, that thing. And you're like, yeah. I'm like, oh, that's fine. Like, that's great, cool.
Yeah.
But like, so I've been trying consciously to not. And it's difficult for me to do when I'm super stressed out, but not see everything as a negative first, right? Not have that first guttural negative reaction or something. And you guys see it, I'm sure, when you guys talk to me, and I'm like, and then I get through it, and I'm like, oh wait, this is actually a fun thing. Let's talk about this, right? But it's been hard. This last couple of months have been probably two of the hardest of my life.
No, 100%.
Yeah, I think the one thing you have to, so a little bit of that old fashioned renowned Colin optimism
Yeah.
is that, you know, a lot. So I think that so a lot of people ask like when we're going to grow, right? And when we, and like, as in terms of numerically, and we grabbed Kevin over a year ago and we've not grown since then. And actually, I do feel like we will be in a position, and I don't know the ins and outs of it, you know, like other than knowing the back end of our business, which I do, but where like next year when this happens, to point of like who's going to manage these things, I think we are going to be 6 or 7 or 8 next year. Like I do think that like it's entirely possible that like we can do a show even more grandiose with less stress, spreading the ball even more than it's already been spread. And so I think that's what gives me optimism and gives me pause when I say like, well, it can only, because now we have to really worry about Kind of Funny Live 3 and 4 and 5 in a way of like being like, well, the fuck are we supposed to do now? And I'm like, well, but I'm like, it's going to be fine, because even if, because we're not going to be the static group of 5 people with a static amount of, you know, funds or whatever it is. I really am optimistic that when we are planning this next year, the look of Kind of Funny next year, this time is going to be radically different. I think the shows will be the same. We'll have some new shows, of course, but like, I just feel like it's not going to be quite as dire as we might think, where like, I think this might be the hardest you might ever have to work on one specific thing, because I think that there's going to be more people to rely on that you trust, that aren't Craig and I. So take heart in that, because I think that, you know, you worked really hard at this, and
Tim's thinking exactly what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
As that, I love that concept. It is a beautiful concept, but Tim and I will find a way to load those people's plates as fucking high as ours right now, and then do more.
Then go fucking 10 times farther.
We're bad at it. We are bad at it.
Yeah.
You and I are bad
we need a real
at
producer.
prioritizing.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it's true. It really is.
I mean, but case in point, even Rooster Teeth struggles with this, right? Because they have a whole events team now, but they're really busy because they've said, well, instead of just RTX, now we're going to do Let's Play Live, which is happening the week after E3, right? But they're all going to E3. They're all so like I feel like that's a hard thing for businesses to rectify, because there's still an inherent fear inside me that this might go away one day, and I don't ever want that to happen. So I pedal the fucking metal
right
until the car burns itself out, right? Which it is burning itself out, but it's fine. I'll get it washed over the weekend. I'll be fine.
That's not how you fix a car you're burning out.
Oh fuck! Should probably take my Honda in then. But that's what I'm saying is like, and that stems from the IGN days, right? Where we all good enough wasn't good enough ever at IGN for me. And it wasn't.
Portillo just threw up in Greg's mouth. Did we get that on camera?
Hand, if you're listening to the MP3.
Hand, not mouth. Hand.
40, what's wrong?
Out of his mouth. 40.
That's scary. So I got to take care of this now.
Greg, that was so fucked up how Portillo threw up in your mouth.
I like that. That's what you said. I'm like, anyone listening to the MP3, imagine this wiener dog.
Oh, God. Yeah.
I'd like to give props to myself, though, for just catching it.
No, that was
continuing
good.
the show.
I didn't even know what the fuck was happening until it was over.
Yeah.
So that was
keep
pretty
an eye
impressive.
on him and see what that's all about.
Yeah.
But kind of funny live.
It is. It's
Anything
happening.
can happen there,
It's gonna be a blast.
too.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be crazy. I'm so excited for it. I know it's at this point it's overkill of me talking about it, just because like this is what I want to do with my life is this show, you know, and I think that's kind of why I want to go so overboard with it, and I am so pushy when it comes to stupid shit like balloon drops and stuff, because it's like I want the whole thing to just be moment after moment of memorable shit, because it's like this is what I experienced, this is the things I looked forward to growing up, and it's awesome that, you know, from my path of making stupid videos in high school to IGN to what Kind of Funny is, it's like this is my one chance where I just get to act like the stupid ass. I get to be Kanye. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like this is my Kanye moment. That's fucking awesome. That's all I want. It's a bunch of people that are in on the joke with me. So that's away from the Kanye thing. But like just the fact that you've all been here for this whole fucking ride. So it's like for me to be on stage, you know, looking like an asshole, and for all of them to be into it, it's like that is the best thing for me to look forward to. And it's like I'll fucking never sleep again for that shit, because it's gonna be great.
No, I agree. It's going to be awesome. And like, even when you were talking about inviting people, you reach out to everyone, which I'm like, you're right. We should. This is going to be awesome. This is something that like, this is going to be one of those shows that at first you're like, is some of the stuff in there embarrassing? Yes. Will people think it's hilarious and laugh? Yeah. Is it weird that all like some of my old bosses are coming to this and they're going to see us being complete chuckleheads? But I'm like, they knew who we were anyway. The
chucklehead part, I think everybody's expecting that. Don't worry about it. But I just love how this show is totally built for you, the viewer of our content, where so many people who are just like our casual friends and love us and love what we do, but don't like watch it, are going to be there for like the first 15 minutes. Like what? I don't understand why any of this is happening, or people like what's happening.
My entire extended family is coming.
But they're going to be in a room with people going fucking crazy to get it, and they'll feel that energy. I remember all my friends last year were like, I don't understand what the hell happened, but obviously I'm missing out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, cool, that's fucking great.
You fucking are missing out, clowns.
You Colonel. But I have never ever been more proud of a project that I've worked on, and that's cool, because I feel like continually that just keeps happening with us. Like we just keep doing stuff. I'm like, fuck, this is awesome. But this, I don't know how I'm gonna beat this, but I will.
I know you will.
Is it Jossum?
It's
Street Sharks?
Jossum? That's a thing?
Street Sharks.
Oh, yeah.
Tim, my only thing, because I don't want to bug you with questions that you've already thought through. My only thing, have you encouraged everyone to bring poster tubes?
No, but I mean, I feel like the merch trailer, people have been hitting me up. Like, what size is it for poster tubes?
Okay.
They're 18 by 24.
Because like last year we had chairs, so it was easier to hide stuff under them and stuff like that. I just want to make sure everybody's.
There's a coat check if people were really worried. Check posters? Probably.
Oh, okay.
This is not. This is a problem that you deal with at concerts. It's not like fans are being like, "Hey, bring your poster tubes." It's good. You got to figure that out.
We do need to make sure we at least bring rubber bands.
Yeah,
like we did last year.
Kevin's on it. Kevin's doing the shrug. What are we worried about? Kind of Funny Live is going to be great. Sorry.
Kevin almost quit because you fucking said that.
Did you see, as a side note, did you guys see the fucking balloon tie tool that he bought?
Yeah.
And he was like, I don't understand how this works. Oh! When he figured it out. It was amazing.
Nick,
Kevin, you're so smart.